Hi, I'm Odeean. Today I'm going to be looking at the armoured parts for the VF-25 Messiah Valkyrie. I've had this on pre-order for a really long time, but we'll go into that later. Okay, on the box it says, armoured parts are optional parts for the purpose of improving the heavy firepower and defence of VF-25. Therefore, the effect is tremendous, but difficult fabrication of operation which is allowed only for aircraft equipped platoon leader class in SMS. So a bit of English way of saying that you have to be a badass to have these. Turning the box around, pretty standard stuff, just showing what you get in there. The greyed out or blued out colours I think are just to indicate that this is not the toy itself, just the armoured parts. Little sticker up here, 30th anniversary Macross. Let's get this open. In the box we have this tray, which is surprisingly full of goodness, and this little insert that was under the tray. So mainly on this piece we have the extra stand pieces that help this guy go on the stand when he's all armoured up. But it looks like a couple of missile spam things here for his chest. The only other thing in the box was black and white instructions showing you how to get it on. Alright, before we get started, I want to show you basically what this beauty looks like before it's armoured up. So here's the VF-25 Altos nice looking Valkyrie from Macross Frontier, and pretty vanilla without any armour on it. I mean, it's a beautiful jet. I haven't reviewed this on its own. You can look at my YF-29 review. It's pretty similar in the transformation to that. So I got this for $190 from BBTS last year sometime, I think. And it was pretty awesome, but I always had in mind to get the armour pack. So it was never something I considered to just leave this guy bare. So that's what it looks like beforehand. A few other little details I want to run over are, this is going to be the new armoured chest piece. If you look at this, there's two options how you can open these spam missiles. So on the left side I've got the way that it comes. If I can get some light in there. That's the way that it comes in the box. So it opens with a hinge in the centre. And we've got our little missile pods in there. This side is the altered way that I've done with the extra pieces. I'm not sure why extra pieces have been added. You can see they just pull out like this, and if I flip it over the other side I can poke out the missiles. So there's like a blank section in there. So if I grab this bit, I can make it how it was to begin with. So I'm not sure why they're in here. Maybe in the cartoon it featured showing this from opening from different sides, or maybe it's just a matter of preference. But it's pretty cool that they give you the choice. I don't really care. I think most of the time I'm going to keep that closed. The next thing is this crotch piece. So there's two of these. I can't figure out why. They're both identical. What's next? Before we get started, there's also this leg. You're going to have to dismantle this. This is how it comes in the box. So what you've got to do is just grab these, snap that off. I know that sounds a little bit brutal, but it's how it's meant to go. Pull off this side panel, and then we're going to yank this up and out like this. There we go. So you've got to have a little bit of up that way. If you just try to go directly out, it's a bit risky. You might snap off some of these little pegs in here. So now that can go around the leg once we get him transformed. We also have this big chunky booster that goes on the side. It needs a little bit of assembly. So this is these are two rockets that go on, and they need to slot in here before we get started. So I'm going to put these down, and then now let's get going. Right, so here we've got the VF-25. I haven't reviewed this yet. An awesome figure. Should definitely pick it up. A lot of the engineering that was slightly off with the YF-29 with the neck area and the posability around the canards, totally fixed on this. Highly recommend. But what do we have to do? Okay, first of all, in here you'll see I've just stuck the adapter for the stand. Makes my life easier showing this off with the rigidity that provides. You don't have to, but I like to keep that in there. So the next thing is, we want to get this guy, grab these little panels, pop them off. We don't need these on, and something else will go there. Don't lose them. If you lose these, your plane will look like crap afterwards. So what comes next? Let's see. Maybe the chest. So grab the chest, and the chest just slots on over, like so. Push it on, fold the flap down. That bit done. Next, we want to do the arms, I think. So here's the arms. They're both the same. This jet section points forwards, and they just peg straight into holes on the back. Nice snapping sound. Pretty securely held in place. Okay. Oh yeah, one other thing. I've pulled off the intake covers from these sections here. So you just need to pop those off with a screwdriver. What's next? Okay, maybe we'll do shoulders. So grab the shoulder. You can see underneath there's a round section and a peg that fit exactly where the little panels were that we just pulled off. This way. So if you see there, it can just peg on. So the shoulder's not really going to go anywhere in particular. Just sort of hangs over the arm with this armour panel dangling down. Don't try to make it fit because I don't think it fits any particular way. It just has to poke up in the air. Get that one. 1, 2. That's done. Next thing. I've pulled off these. So these are on a little ball joint. You can see this is the part that comes with the plane. Focus. Again, don't lose this. You really need this later on if you want to ever look like a normal plane again. So put that aside, keep it safe. But we're going to replace it with these. So these just pop right onto where the ball joint was. Is that right? The right way? Maybe this way, yes. No, I was right the first time. So this pops on here. Just, be careful of your ball joint, but you've got to push it kind of firmly to get it in place. It's pretty tough. Just don't go crazy on it. You don't want to snap off the stem of that ball. It's a bit hard because it's on a little hinge. So see, it wants to fold backwards like that. There you go, not too difficult. Okay, the next part is kind of tricky. So we've got this, which goes over those intake regions, but there's two ways this holds on. On the back, a bit of focus happening, you can see there's a little magnet, I think it's a magnet, and also we have a little clip just here. So this clip has to fit just as a, it's hard to show, I'll point it with the screwdriver, just where this ball section joins on, there's a little join, a seam in the plastic. That clip will clip over that section, so it's very tricky to get it exactly right. And I have a lot of trouble with this. Maybe I'll need to edit this after I've done it 20 times in a row. Oh, well, that one was dead easy. Let's hope the other one went on. This is not the first time I filmed this, and maybe practice makes perfect. Let's try this one. This is the one that's been giving me the most headache. Not so good. Now I've lost the chest. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Put the chest back on. There's nothing that really holds this chest. You can get a nice snapping sound sometimes, but I don't think that there's anything in particular holding it on. It's hard to see what catches there, so you're only lucky if it fits. We're going to get this cod piece, tap that in, right where the groin is, turn him around. This bit, this kind of radar communications module, has these 4 dots which are going to peg in to 4 little holes on the back. Very simple, just line them up and squeeze them in, and I've lost the chest again. Maybe that chest can stay there till the end. Okay, the next bit, the next bit kind of tricky. So we get this big booster section, and we want the round, that bowl bit, which is the gun, to face forwards on him, and we want this to be squeezed together. Focus. We want this to be squeezed together because it's going to both slot into the same hole. So all you got to do is line it up and give it a push, and it will click in. Okay, so it's something inside that locks it. Fits very perfectly. So if you just get it in the right spot, it'll do it. So do the other side. And now it's not, this one not lining up. There we go, both clipped on, and I've lost this bit has come off again, but I'll put that back on in the end. So get this, the back of the leg, which I showed you before how to split it, just hold it over here, get the matching front piece, peg it together over the leg, like that, grab these booster sections, not booster, what do you call them, missile pods, snap them on, grab the beam that comes off the other side. We're going to peg that, making sure that's really pegged before we try to put it on, like that. This just goes into the hole, so there's a little hole here, a little peg here, that goes together, slots over the top, and we do the same thing on the other side. So we put the back over, we put the front over that, make sure it's pegged together. Missile pods on, this beam on. This is a pretty complicated thing, not complicated, but it's a real hassle getting it all to stay on at the same time. So it's beautiful. I love it. I appreciate it. It's amazing that it even works, given that the plane is so sleek to start off with. But just getting all these bits to stay on at one time is pretty difficult. They all want to come off and do their own thing. So where has that chest gone? Here we go. One more time, trying to get the chest back on. Doesn't want to stay. It's just sitting there now. It's not really attached. So there we have it. Oh, one more bit. The shield. Where's my shield? Shield has an extra armour piece that can lock on. This, just squeeze it together. There. Now check him out. One badass. Look at that. He is going to fight this guy. It's like ultimate. He's fully armoured. Some armour packs that I've seen, I don't own any others, but some of the ones that I've been looking at lately don't seem to cover much of the Valkyrie. It's not true with this. This guy is almost fully covered. So he's got a bit of his arms exposed, only on one arm, and maybe his abdomen here and his head. Other than that, he's fully covered up. Really nice. Look at that. He's got tons of missile pods here. So there's the ones in his shoulders that can open up this way. Then there's the ones in the chest that I showed you before that can open outwards or inwards depending on which chest piece you've put on. Then we've got the ones in the sides of the legs. So looking a bit closer, you can see really a lot of missiles there. You wouldn't want to try to dodge those, would you? These ones down here, really beautiful. And even the paint on those missiles. The missiles, I don't know if the camera is picking it up. They're not just painted red on the ends. Those missiles are actually black poking through a grey region with the ends painted, so that you've got three colours going around each missile. Very nice attention to detail, very lovely. You can see the problem, can't you? What this guy really needs is to be put on display and not touched, because he's having a hard time staying together. Let's have a look at the back. Back, these two huge rockets, more missile spam here. This articulated cannon here, it's like on a swivel. It's kind of it looks like a ball joint. It's not a ball joint. It's kind of a hinge and a swivel. So it hinges like this, and then rotates on that hinge. So it's not a full range of motion, but still, the way they've done it gives them the opportunity to have more of the ball outside of the cup, and it looks cool. I like the way that it looks. Now that is some missile spam. You wouldn't want to be a Vajra around this guy. Oh my God. I don't know, the only way you could cram more missiles onto them is to have another missile pod that locks onto his spare arm. Shit, that's badass. Look at that. Oh. Here we got this beast in ship mode. There was no way I was going to transform this on camera, sorry, but it is very delicate, all holding together, and you can transform it. I did, but you need two hands, you need to set it in your lap, you need to carefully move the pieces around, otherwise it just falls to bits while you're doing it. But this thing weighs a ton. I mean, this is one heavy ship now, very satisfying feel in my hand, the weight of this guy. So he doesn't just look like he's got a super pack, he feels like he's got a super pack. If you check out that look, my God, bulked up. There's not a lot to say that you can't see, so it looks how it looks. It looks like it looks in the show. It's done really well. A few little details on the underside. So on the underside we've got landing gear, new landing gear that's not connected to the actual leg. If we open these little panels, they slide apart to reveal this rear landing wheel, so that can just pop out, and then he's got at least some way to land. Still uses the built-in front one for the front landing gear, so I don't know, it's a nice feature, but I tend to believe that these guys probably aren't going to be doing too much landing in normal runway wearing this super armour. Maybe the only practical way to use this would be to land in Gerwalk mode, that's my guess. The posable cannon at the front, this is where it really comes into its own. So you've got about 90 degrees backwards and forwards, but then in addition to that, it's hard to show, but that rotates around this seam in the middle. So it's hard to accurately gauge exactly what kind of motion it's got. I think it could cover a hemisphere, basically. So you'll see that something just came unpinned then. Because all of this is too fat for the original transformation, what we've got is a new little socket for the wing pin to go into on the side of the armour. So that's how it's holding together. It's not quite as robust as the native transformation without the armour pack, but still it's solid enough for some decent play, not just posability. These boosters We've got some really nice boosters on the back, so they can rotate, and they're on a ball. No paint inside, but they're nicely coloured, kind of bronzy type of colour. These bits here, I don't know what they do, but the rockets themselves can come off their little frame, so you'll see they've got slots to slot into. You wouldn't want that to hit you. And then these things here have no colour. These ones are just red paint on the white. So whereas most of the other missile spam are another section poked through the plastic, so you get three colours in one place, these are just moulded detail that are being painted on. And some little retro rockets. You still can open these spam bays in vehicle mode if you choose. So they're available to you, although the big set on the legs just hang down underneath. So maybe you could do some drive-by bombing with those things. So my final thoughts on this toy. Is it good? Definitely. Is it worth it? Well, for what I paid, it is definitely worth it. I paid $125. I think I gave the cash for this maybe 6 or 7 months ago to a Japanese guy on eBay who wanted to take pre-orders for this. I don't know what the retail is meant to be for this thing, but I guess it must be somewhere around that. I remember Big Bad Toy Store had these on pre-order for ages for $220, and I had that pre-order, and I was thinking, my God, am I getting really screwed? $220, I can't understand what the difference is. So I didn't know whether to believe that it's going to be $220 and be suspicious of eBay, or think that for some reason BBTS was shafting me. So I ended up cancelling the order and taking a gamble. And the gamble was that even though it was months and months that this would pay off, and you know, it would be my own fault. eBay policy is 60 days only on these pre-orders, and this was 6 months, not 60 days. So it was a gamble. Gamble paid off. I got it, $125 shipped. I love it. It's awesome. If you can afford one, I don't know what these go for now on the aftermarket, but definitely there's no reason not to buy this in the toy. So putting the money aside, which I'm sure is going to be a huge amount, there's nothing wrong with this set. It is truly amazing. It looks beautiful, looks like the cartoon, has a lot of cool detail in it. I think I'll be displaying my VF-25 with this armour on in robot mode. It just looks so good, and I'll keep the YF-29 in vehicle mode because it's so sleek and beautiful. So this is a great set. Thanks for watching my video review of the Super Armour Pack for the VF-25. This is odeean.